What made you decide to leave SAP and go with ServiceNow?
It's really interesting. You know, I had a 17-year career at Xerox in the early part of my career, and then I had a 17-year career at SAP, 10 as CEO. I was proud of the team and what they were able to accomplish and taking the company from a 39 billion company when I started as CEO to 170 the day I handed off the reins to the next generation of CEOs. And I was really taken by ServiceNow and the potential of ServiceNow as an amazing force in digital transformation. And I believe that digital transformation is the opportunity of this generation. And digital transformation and ServiceNow's leadership in the cloud came together in my mind as an unstoppable force. You know, I always believe that the markets are very rational and they understand when value is created for customers and employees, and you're creating really a masterpiece business model for the future years. And the markets understand the cloud economics very well. But I do want to acknowledge that every leader stands on the shoulder of giants before them. And Fred Luddy, who invented this company, is one such giant. And Frank Slootman did a very good job of scaling Fred's original vision. And John Donahoe, my amazing friend running Nike now, is also a great CEO who I got to take advantage of as a mentor when I first came in. And he did a beautiful job setting the company up for this run. So all credit to the people of ServiceNow and to the leaders that came before me. I got a little lucky when I first came in because I did what we called a Dream Big tour. And I went all over the world and I met everybody in the company personally at these Dream Big meetings, which gave me a fast start because in the first 100 days, I covered the globe and really fell in love with ServiceNow and ServiceNow's people and customers, which was awesome. But then, you know, we finished the year very strong. We come into this year, and then the first quarter, as you know, we all get hit with the COVID-19 crisis.
How did you deal with the uncertainty and anxiety in your own corporate culture?
I was going into a Monday meeting with the leadership team at ServiceNow to do blue sky thinking. And we were going to talk about what we were going to be when we grew up. And I said, look, let's stop the music right now, because if we don't solve the COVID-19 problem, there won't be a blue sky. So we focused all of our attention on developing emergency response applications to help our customers get through COVID-19. And they became an instant sensation. And I do believe that that helped elevate our strategic authority with decision makers and companies all over the world as not only a company that could innovate, but could do so very quickly, and also a company that had a heart because we gave it all away for free. And that was at the forefront of getting the whole company galvanized to fight. We had a couple of thousand customers around the world download that application. But more importantly, after we were done with kind of the track and trace and the emergency response and associated quarantining to protect people, and then we open sourced the state of Washington application, as you rightfully pointed out, we also recognized that this is a journey. It's not a transaction, which led us to develop the emergency response application suite and then the return to workplace safely suite of applications. And what was interesting here is we knew that this was going to change the paradigm of work, and the workplace of the future was going to be very different. And that the desktop in some office building somewhere, which is probably too tall and probably costs too much, was going to be an artifact of COVID-19. So we stood for work from anywhere. And essentially, we knew we had to answer some very specific questions. Are people ready to come back? Are we properly testing? Are we tracking, tracing, and quarantining? Is the workplace configured for safety on every building, every floor, every conference room, every cubicle? Do we have PPE inventory management in place in the global economy? Do we have the gloves, the cleaning materials? Are CDC, WHO guidelines being followed to the letter of the law? And the decision makers have a sheet of glass on their iPhone or their desktop where they can see in real time what's going on to make the necessary adjustments and course correct as they go. And we brought that force to the market. So while other people were selling products and marketing them before they were actually finished, we were actually winning major accounts like Uber and installing and getting them globally ready within 2 weeks. So this has created a groundswell of innovation and motivation, not only within our company, but across our whole customer base. Stick to your purpose. Our purpose is to make the world of work better for people. We have a certain value set that enables that to happen. One example is teamwork makes the dream work. So we all have to stick together. Another example is stay hungry and humble, and don't lose that hunger just because our resolve is being tested. Actually increase our intensity and obviously remain humble. We're here in service to each other, to our customers, and ultimately to the world. And if you can get enough people to care, you could do anything. And we basically started out with our Dream Big vision and our 5-point plan. And it was all about sticking to the plan. So every day I update my goals, and so too does everyone in the company. What are we going to do today? And this really became a movement because we became a Zoom company. And I believe that everything worth communicating is always under-communicated. So we over-communicate. Today I've been on several Zooms in a few continents already. And we have all hands meetings, we have customer meetings. I can be in 4 continents a day, defeating the principles of time and travel. And it really was about recognizing that our customers like us could be highly agile and would change given the COVID dynamic. And they have. And our company is at maximum strength. We're working from home. Our productivity is up. We've actually written more code post-COVID than pre-COVID. And we've had much more usage of our platform post-COVID than pre-COVID. And our customer satisfaction and Net Promoter Score is through the roof. So I have to say, it is a tough, serious situation. We feel for everybody, and many of us have had personal circumstances where family, loved ones, and friends have been impacted by this dreaded virus. But at the same time, we have to fight on. The whole key to this thing is to recognize that if you can truly focus on the customer, it's easy to say, it's a hard thing to do. You can move the world. We looked at the COVID crisis. An example would be the Q1 earnings report, which is in the history books. And we understood our dynamic with the customer relationship. 20% of our customers were in the hospitality, the retail, or the transportation industries, as an example, and a couple of others. And we knew that they would be highly impacted by this. So job one was to prove that we were strategically relevant, even in the most dire of circumstances. We didn't have a single downsell, we didn't have a single cancellation, and we had expansion of the customer relationship with ServiceNow in all of our key customer relationships that were up for renewal in those very important industries. That's a telltale sign, because if you have 20% there, it means you have 80% somewhere else. And as we looked at this, we were succeeding across the board, not because we were selling, but because we were caring. We were in the game. We were speaking the language of the customer in terms of digital transformation. How could they use IT as the backbone of business model innovation? Take a great company like Disney as an example. Great company. Disney has their theme parks closed. Nobody is going to cinema. Michael Jordan's Last Dance was really the only big hit. Other than that, you were watching sport reruns and maybe a few other 30 on 30. And how were they going to get it done? They innovated. Disney Plus became a sensation. Now Disney Plus has 60 million users running on ServiceNow. We can help you as you engage Disney Plus. We can use virtual agents to care for you, sign you up, and make sure you're happy. And then we can use the predictive nature of our platform. When there is an issue or something does need to be remediated, the platform can notify in a workflow the right human to get involved to make sure you don't sign out, you sign up. And now Disney is on a run, and people believe in Disney, and the stock is doing great, and the theme parks are now starting to open again, but they innovated their business model. We have countless examples like that. What turns us on at ServiceNow? The customer and what they can do for their customer. And that's the story. The big idea is we are in a workflow revolution. We have a world where everything is mobile, everything is web, and everything is collaborative. So you have to converge those forces and provide people with extraordinary user experiences. When people work for an enterprise, they should do so with the same level of simplicity and enjoyment as you use your iPhone doing a Google search for something on a Saturday afternoon in the comfort of your home. That is what we've created at ServiceNow. Secondly, all of these systems of record that companies have invested in for the last half a century, they do something important, but they do it for each department. The department could be finance, the department could be sales, it could be legal, it could be HR, could be manufacturing, but it's departmental. And most companies are highly siloed. And the data that runs those departments is locked up in vaults within that silo. ServiceNow seamlessly integrates into all of those platforms. That's why we are the platform of the platforms. And we enable the data to be put into ServiceNow in a workflow. So if you need action to be taken and a picture at Cowboys Stadium on a Sunday afternoon, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, can be taken from a maintenance worker of something that's broken, that can immediately trigger a workflow so the responsible technician can get involved, remediate the issue, and things start running smoothly again. They now solve issues 296% time faster on the ServiceNow platform, which raises customer satisfaction, loyalty, and obviously spend. So this is happening and is a movement, and ServiceNow is leading that movement, and we do so with great care. And what I believe too is the workflow and the way this revolution automates itself, it does so with deep machine learning, artificial intelligence, and everything highly predictive. So we use people to do the work that requires intelligence and judgment that computers don't have. But computers can do so much, and we should let them do the grinded out work so that people can have a little fun too. When people choose a company they want to work for, they want to come work for a company that is digitally transformed or that's leading the digital transformation because they know their employee experience, the way they're onboarded. I have my phone, I have my computer. I know what I have to do with my work from home, go to the office, work from anywhere. I know what my training is, my knowledge. I'm certified. I've got my comp plan, my 401k. I understand the total value of what I put in today and what I'll get out 30 years from now. All the compliance matters that need to be handled across departments. When there's a case that needs to be managed, the system does it for me. It's all in a workflow. It's simple. I want to work for that company. When I'm a customer, things get remediated instantaneously, predictively. They know how to care for me, not just sell me, but after they sold me. If I have a field service force, they can predict things. They can maintain things before things go down and customers call angrily to get problems solved. And when there is a problem and a human does need to get involved, it's the right person with the right tool, the right knowledge, the right everything at the right place and time so things can be done swiftly And what the benefit back is to the business is happy customer, and also a margin profile that goes up like a hockey stick because the workflow revolution is under control. Things are getting done. It's taking action. The company is moving with speed, and speed is the big value driver in this economy, especially in a COVID environment. That's another interesting nuance of ServiceNow. We have no enemies. We're not against anybody because we do something that no one else does. It's kind of like the Grateful Dead. They said we're the only ones that do what we do the way we do it. And that's what I love about this workflow revolution and ServiceNow's position in the new economy. We want to make everybody successful. We want to make the systems of record work so people can get their work done and be happy. And we want to be at the forefront of working with web and mobile and conversational tools like the one we're on today so productivity can get increased dramatically. And all this can be done frictionless. System of action, deep engagement, happiness for all.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Racism is real. Black people have faced racism for 400 years. We dealt with it head on. We had an all hands dedicated to communicating. I actually had one of my colleagues on stage with me in a Zoom for the all hands, and we talked about these issues openly, and we agreed essentially on a 5-point plan. The first part of the plan is to make sure we take care of the employees we already have. It's just like your customers. First things first, take care of the employees that you already have. Make sure that everything is equalized. Pay equity is one such example. Completely rethink the training methodology because you really have to train people to give them the advanced opportunities and clear a path. There's a big difference between I'm mentoring you and I'm sponsoring you. And that is a big gear that we had to rewire so we get accomplishment. We also have to lobby for good. I'm teaming up with other CEOs, leaders of sports, leaders of business to have a real say in the matter on a local, global, and governmental basis. And that's really an important thing. We have to lobby for good. And finally, we have to hire right. So we rethought the whole recruiting department. So our recruiting department, especially towards the Black community, needs to have people that understand the community and understand the nuances of the issues and really rethink that. So we have to have a more diverse recruiting department that can absolutely galvanize change. Furthermore, we have to rethink work because it might be that you're not going to be able to get the diversity goals that you want if you have to come to Santa Clara and live in California at the high price. Maybe we rethink departments that are more geographically dispersed, or people could even work from home so we could attain goals in new ways, in modern ways. And that also includes hiring people into the company. We have to apply Rooney rules. You have to have balance in the people that are competing for jobs. If you don't have the right people and the right equation in the competition, how could you possibly expect a better outcome? And all of these processes have been codified in a 5-point plan that we're going to finalize within our own company with all levels of detail and also communicate externally, because we want to be the company that everybody wants to work for. There's something that always gives me doubt. You know what it is? Complacency. And I really do have very brief moments of celebration. And I tell people this all the time. I wish I could celebrate more. I wish I could take more time to dance around the yard or walk around the block and wave a banner. You know, things went pretty well today. But the reality is, if you just think about a quarter in the business of software, the second that you finish a quarter in every time zone around the world, in one tick of 1 second of the clock, you've now entered into a new dimension, into a dimension where you get to renew yourself and prove yourself all over again. And it worries me if I see people that celebrate too long or sit back too far and think that they have gotten there. We'll never get there. We are spending our life in pursuit of something that we can never get. Success is a race without a finish line. Perfection is an altruistic goal that's worth chasing, but you have to acknowledge you'll never get there. And that chase is what gives me amazing energy. But at the same time, it also cautions me, because if you see complacency, you have instantaneous doubt. So a leader must galvanize thousands and thousands to acknowledge that it's important to take that moment of celebration and reinvest it in the next set of goals, and then get busy all over again. Because the joy is in the dream chase, not actually in catching the dream. I never forget having dinner with John Wooden, the coach of the UCLA basketball team. And John obviously won 10 national championships. He played pro ball with my grandfather, which you may or may not know, but in the 30s, they actually played against each other. And he told me some stories about his view of basketball. And he said, Bill, the key to being great is be quick, but not in a hurry. There's always a sense of deliberateness. He always believed in fundamentals, so much so that he spent the first session with his young people coming into UCLA on how to put on their socks and tie their shoes properly, so their feet at the end of the season would be in better condition than the competition. He was very strategic on fundamentals, but he was also incredibly goal-oriented. And he always talked about doing it right at the root cause, at the in-process level, and letting the result be the outcome of doing it right. So many leaders focus on the result and not the process on how to get there. And I think that's what makes the great ones really great. It's that determination and that dedication and that sacrifice you put into it every day. You win in practice. So when you show up and it's game time, there's no surprises. You've prepared for all outcomes. And any slight adjustment or any deviation from what you thought was going to happen is prepared for. And you actually look forward to it because you want a challenge. Who wants to be bored on your way to greatness? You know, some people like to run and jog around the block. I like to play basketball. I like to ride bikes, and I try to stay on the move. So I think that, you know, whatever your form of relaxation is through physical exercise, do that. Find that thing that you really love. And I think that does intellectually renew you, because to me, I think when I do that, and a lot of the ideas come from just doing that, you know, and I could tell you countless stories in business, how the idea came from a basketball game or a bike ride, or in some cases, even a walk around the block with my wife. You have to really, you know, use those moments to fortify your physicality, but it also stimulates your mind. I just have my daily routines, you know. For example, I get up really early in the morning. I zoom through a few online papers that I enjoy reading, bang through the emails from the prior night, and then I'm kind of in a good mood now because I'm up to date, and then I like to listen to music. And when I listen to music, depending on what I have in front of me as my first thing of the day, I choose the artist based on that. So sometimes the artist needs to relax me, and sometimes the artist or the group needs to rev me up. Generally, however, in my case, I like something that softens me up and relaxes me. And I have a lot of mindfulness because it lets my mind drift. It lets me dream. It lets me think. It lets me imagine. Life is based on ideas. The best ideas come when you're cooled out and you're just zoned on something that just makes you feel happy and soothed. Today, it was an artist by the name of Jim Croce. His music, to me, I just find the words so incredibly well written and the way he delivers things so special. My great friend, Tony Bennett, now about to meet, and I believe it's 95 this year. One of the most incredible human beings that ever lived. I don't know of a day where I haven't listened to at least one song from Bennett and Sinatra, So it's just, whatever your thing is, get into it and let it put you in that happy zone. Told me this great story. We're in Hawaii together having dinner. His wife, Susan, my wife, Julie, the four of us. And, I said, Tony, like, something must have gone wrong along the way here. You're so amazing. You have anything that went wrong? And he said, yeah, Bill, actually I did. At one time he was living in Southern California, and Fred Astaire was his next door neighbor. And he said, Bill, I used to get up, I'd open the blinds, and I just watched Fred Astaire go to the mailbox because literally his feet never touched the ground. It looked like he was floating, just the way his body could move. And he said, in that same era, I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And I really was not in a good place. And he said his agent came in and he met with him. And he basically said, Tony, this isn't good. This is not you. And Tony said, I'm Tony, and that's it. And the agent said, well, I'm walking out. And Tony said, what are you talking about? He said, Tony, remember this, never sin against your talent. Tony internalized that. Not only did he bring the agent back, but it changed his life. That one line, that one idea, never sin against your talent. And that was the next gear in the transformation of the Tony Bennett that's in his mid-90s and is still a global sensation.